Hey guys, Kristie here with Table Talk with Kristie. Thanks for tuning in. I know I've been MIA for the last little bit. I've been trying to navigate through this chapter of my life. I've got to have a reverse shoulder replacement, as you know. I finally picked my surgeon. I'm super stoked about that. I think God actually sent me to this guy, or this guy to me. However, whichever way, he's for me. He's my ride or die. But anyway, so now I'm moving on to the next chapter of my life, and that's trying to figure out my post-op care, the facility I'm going to. I am a native of Fraser Rehabilitation Institution. I have been there 13 plus times, so I am used to an acute rehab, the acute level of therapy and care and state of art equipment and the facility and the beds and doctors and etc. However, with a shoulder replacement, the insurance will only pay for me to stay in an acute facility probably 7 to 10 days. I'm a little bit different than the average person. I don't have any balance. I had strokes. I have zero balance. So I require my hands, my arms, everything. These are like my legs. So I am going to require 24/7 care. So I'm going to need to exhaust all 100 days insurance say they pay for, or as much as that as possible. So then you come to subacute rehabs, skilled nursing facilities. I've been touring them and have many questions for the social services, and it's been a journey. But I have several questions because down to are there private rooms, private bathrooms, to what is the level of care? What is the level of therapy? I know in a skilled facility you only get like maybe an hour of therapy a day. So then, you gotta rely on yourself. Thankful I'm good in that department. But, what is the level of therapy at a skilled nursing facility? Will they be able to supply me with enough to keep me improving to stay those possible 100 days? Because you have to meet certain criteria, medical and therapy. You got to keep improving. It's not just going to be room and board, You've got to do your part. There has to be reason for you to stay there. So, I'm all in. Are they? Is what I need to know. And it's just several questions, the skilled nursing facility. So I have toured probably 4 or 5 of them thus far. And I found what I found was very interesting. Some of them facilities definitely need to be under investigation. Some of the facilities were so nice. I'm like, this is a subacute rehab, not an acute, because it's very nice. The room's immaculate. They got your bed and recliner, TV and dresser, and your own bathroom, your own shower. But some of them, not so much. I've toured one that the therapy room was my living room, sit right there. My living room is bigger than that therapy room. They had 5 people in the therapy room. It's very crowded. I can't work in there. There's no room to work. I'm not there to make friends. I'm there to work, to get the job done, to one-on-one with my therapist. I want to do this. because, my surgeon may say, yeah, we're going to get here. I know Jesus and I are going to get here. Now, the surgeon told me not to expect 90%. I think this is 90%. I'm just expecting 75%. I'm not expecting, I'm knowing. But anyway, so that's another topic. So, that third room's not real big. So another facility I toured that was fabulous. That third room was probably about as big as my kitchen dining room and I guess. It was great, and therapist was great. People were nice. The facility was clean. I mean, everything was awesome. It was my favorite until, I toured and let me get ahead of myself. So, in Glasgow, Kentucky, there's only one place that I would consider staying at and consider the therapy. They had the best therapy, hands down. I've taken therapy there many times. It's NHC in Glasgow, Kentucky. Wonderful. I know all the nurses and the therapists, and it's a wonderful facility, and it's clean. The rooms are great, and private showers, and the therapy is phenomenal. They have 2 therapy rooms. It's great. Alright, so, but I toured one facility that definitely should be under investigation, right? First, let's start by, I was already kind of frustrated because I've called them 2.5 weeks and left messages saying I wanted to tour the rehab side. Now, one time did I get a call back. Nobody ever called me back. So my caregiver and I said, well, what to show up? So a couple of Fridays ago, we just showed up, and she was like, yeah, so my caregiver unloaded me, and I waited in the foyer in between the 2 doors while she went and parked, and there was a big board of pictures of the residents. It was so sad. They were sad pictures. I felt so saddened for these individuals. Anyway, my caregiver came. We went to the lobby, and the woman at the front desk was so rude, hateful. And I think she was crocheting. It was very unprofessional, very rude. And it wasn't just me. Even my caregiver's she was very rude, hateful. And the place was outdated. I said, I need to use the restroom, please. Where's the restroom? Right there, but somebody's in there, or it's busy right now, something, clean or whatever. It's okay. So wait for those people to come out. So my caregiver and I went to go to the restroom. She literally had to pick my chair up, scoot it back over to line it up with the doorway. And I can't wheel myself anymore because of my arm. But if I could, I would have tore all the hide off my hands. So you barely fit the wheelchair, a regular size standard wheelchair, to the door. If it was the extra wide wheelchair, no way. It would not have fit. I'm not sure that I could have got through there with a walker. Maybe a cinder walker, but I know I couldn't with the upright walker. So, we got into the restroom. There is no bars. So my caregiver had to stay with me and help me. I said, what kind of nursing home is this? Really? This is 2026, yeah? There's no bars, no emergency pool robe, nothing. In a nursing home, mind you. Alright, so then we go back up to the lobby and we're waiting. And so the social services director says, opens the door, says, y'all come on. What? Not, are you ladies ready? Or, okay, I can see you now, or nothing nice like that. Y'all come on. Very rude and unprofessional. whatever. So we get up, travel to her office, and I said, yes, ma'am, I would like to tour the rehab part. And, well, y'all got questions? Yes, ma'am, but I left my phone in the car, but I think I can recall most of them. So we sat in her office, and she, I've learned since you're in a wheelchair, some people, scratch that, most people, probably 75 to 8% of people will talk to you like you don't know what you're talking about, like you're a child, like you have brain damage because you're in a wheelchair. And that is the treatment I got from this lady. Very unprofessional, and she was like, oh, honey, you need to do this and this and I, this ain't my first rodeo, but I was like, yes, ma'am, that's a good idea. I never thought of that before. Yes, ma'am. And my caregiver said that every time she would tell me something, that she would look at her. So my caregiver said, I just quit looking at her. She, I guess, assumed I couldn't make my own decisions, because I'm in a wheelchair. But I talked to her and, excuse me, ask her, if they're private rooms, the patient rooms, and private restrooms and showers and stuff. Yes, private rooms, but no, they share a toilet. Not, it's the same sex though. It's not mixed sex with the toilet sharing. And the showers are kept off, so everyone has to use the community shower. But don't worry, they're cleaned in between, Anyway, she was telling me that, and I guess I didn't have my wheels locked on my wheelchair, so I scooted back to cross my legs, I think, and I thought that's what I did. But anyway, she said, I can tell you don't like that. You physically scooted back. And my caregiver said, yeah, you did. You physically scooted back. I said, well, man, it's not that I'm above that. I'm not above. I don't think I'm better than that to share. But my infection rate used to be really high, and all this is because of infection. Yeah, I lost my eye with a firework accident, but I lost half of my face to infection. I couldn't tell you the times I had to stay at U of A hospital and get IV antibiotics. Or I come home a couple times with PICC lines with IV antibiotics for months. I couldn't go to the gym for months because I was on these antibiotics. I'm worried about infection. My head up here be red. I mean, it was a very critical. I went through this critical stage for over a year. And even more after I come home, any signs of redness, or everybody freaked out. Because my infection rate was off the chart. And, I still am very careful. So, do I want to share a room or share toilets or showers? Not really. And plus, this is 2026, yeah? We shouldn't do this. She said, well, no matter where you go, it's a good nursing facility, you're going to have to share toilets. I said, ma'am, this is the first facility I've ever saw like that, I've ever heard of. Anyway, I said, excuse me, ma'am. I said, I'm sorry, I won't waste any more of your time. I'm not going to go ahead with the tour. There's no reason for me to tour this. She's like, well, I can ask so-and-so about private showers or whatever, and I got your number, I can call you back. Whoa, wait, what? You got my number? You can call me back? but you didn't. The first 2.5 weeks, I tried calling scheduling an appointment. But hey, just make sure you got my number. Okay. I haven't got the call yet, but it doesn't matter. But this is one facility that definitely needs to be investigated for sure. I'm glad that I didn't do the tour and see those patients and poor residents. Do their family really know this facility? I didn't even make it past the lobby. So, I've toured some good, some bad, some real bad. But it saddens me because the probability of me going to a nursing home is greater than the average person going to a nursing home. Because I've had a stroke, I got one eye, I have zero balance, I have left side hemiparesis. There's a lot of things working against me, but there is one thing, there's a lot working for me. So no matter what type of situation you're going through, you've always got somebody advocating for you. Believe that. But I hope that my family will take care of me. I hate to put the burden on them, and everybody is super busy, especially in today's life. Everybody's super busy. Everybody's got their own life, but I don't want to go to nursing home. Who does? You give up everything you've worked for in your whole life, and you're crammed in, confined by 4 walls. Man, I can't think anything worse than having to retire to a nursing home. So I'm pleading with you, if you have family members that are on that verge of going to nursing home, please exhaust all branches, hiring personal care, exhausting all members of your family. Do everything you can, because ask yourself, if it was you, would you want your family to put you in a nursing home? Now I know that some have no choice, but I'm asking you to exhaust all branches, please. God, I can imagine. You're cut off from all family events and birthdays, and you're known as the aunt and the aunt in the nursing home, with the friend in the nursing home, the cousin in the nursing home. Oh yeah, I got a sister-in-law that in the nursing home, or oh yeah, my Aunt Kristie, she's in a nursing home, or who's that cousin you got that's in a nursing home, or your friend that's in there, you become that one that's in the nursing home, Sure, people come to see you, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour if you're lucky. Then they leave and you're all alone again, and yeah, they want to bring you some chocolate-covered cherries and take a picture with you, Now, granted, all families aren't like that, but most or some. It's very sad. I have a great family, and they're very rooted. We're there for each other, and so I don't see them ever putting me in a nursing home. I think they'll fight for me, but I pray for those less fortunate, those that don't have family. They end up in nursing home. Those that don't have people to fight for them, but you do have somebody to fight for you. After you've exhausted all branches, if you do have a loved one that goes to nursing home, I ask you, please do your research. on the facility. Do you know the number one complaint about nursing homes is neglect? You know, it's sluggish response times to call lights. Not flipping, I don't know if it's flipping, but not repositioning the resident, which causes bed sores and MRSA. And bed sores. Bed sores can be deadly. Which now with newer technology, they can prevent that. You have dehydration, malnutrition, falls, and then you have abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse. The list goes on and on, folks, so please do your research. Even I was in between the rehab and the hospital for 327 days, and granted that was 10 plus years ago, and everything has advanced so much that now it can be detected, but I had tons of bed sores. Yeah, I was rotated, and I was even special mattresses, and I had pillows underneath my arms and my elbow, but I had bed sores, and God, it burned and hurt on my tailbone, my elbows, my feet, back of my head, everywhere. But now, the last couple of days I've had it fractured. They have a new technology where they can scan your skin, check for skin breakdown. If that had that 10 plus years ago, maybe I wouldn't have had these bed sores. So technology is advancing, but just make sure you do your research and the care that. Have you ever seen the movie Happy Gilmore? His grandma has to go to a nursing home, and she's such a sweet little lady. And Happy's pretty happy about it. He thinks that, she's being well taken care of. But then you got the nurse dude at the door going, nothing, And so she's like, oh yeah, Happy, I'm so happy. I want to go home. Nursing homes is probably like that. Do you know that there are over 1 million Americans, 1.2 million Americans, in nearly 15,000 nursing facilities? 15,000. And how many of those are probably corrupt, and everything's corrupt? I don't believe anything, but I feel so sad for these residents in the nursing homes. I looked on one Facebook page of a nursing home, and they had pictures of residents. Well, some of them was holding a chalkboard signs like, my dream is to go home, or, several was there, can I go home? They just want to go home. They just want to go home and live their life, their freedom. Everything's taken away in nursing home. I'm probably the happiest person I know, for real. I'm pretty happy. And if I got moved to nursing home, my joy would be gone. I like to think that I would carry on, but so much of my joy would be taken away. And I know I preach all the time that, where your joy is found, and you have somebody advocating for you, and what you put your hope in, blah, 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 blah. I talk about it, but when you're through, there's full loss, and everything's taken from you, it's a different story. And I like to think I would remain joyful. But I just want to say to all those that, if you are in a nursing home, or if you have a loved one going, nursing home, place to lose your joy. Don't lose your peace. If you need visitors, write to me and I'll come visit you. I will get there. They won't let me drive, but I'll get there. I promise you. I promise you that. But 1.2 million Americans in nursing facilities. It blows my mind. You know, I don't want to become the forgotten one in a nursing home. I want to continue to be the fun, adventurous aunt, sister, daughter. It's a place to do your research, love your family, take care of your loved one. They do the same for you. But remember to always stay kind and be humble.